What's up, y'all? Welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here, hello and welcome. I have the new Coca-Cola collection from Glamlite to share with y'all today, and I am so incredibly excited about this one. Whether you are a fan of Coke or not, personally, I am a Dr. Pepper girly. You cannot deny how cute this collection is. Everything from the theming down to the packaging, the attention to detail is absolute perfection, and I cannot wait to dive into this and check out all these products. Now, I did purchase mine during the original launch over on TikTok. It has since become available on the Glamlite website as well, so I will have it linked down below in the description box, as well as everything else that I use in this video to complete these looks. So per usual, if you're ever curious about anything I use in any of my videos here on my channel, always check the description box. I squeeze as much information as I possibly can into that tiny little space. But with all that being said, we're going to dive into this collection. We're going to open it up, check out the products, do some swatches, create a couple of different looks, and at the end of the video, I will give you my first initial impression thoughts. All right, before we start diving in and pulling out products and swatching them and trying them on, I want to give you a quick overview of the collection as a whole. So essentially, this is two collections rolled into one larger collection. And what I mean by that is you have the original taste collection, and then you also have the cherry Coca-Cola collection. Two classic flavors, one collection. I absolutely love it. So with each one, you have the eyeshadow palette, and then you also have this cute little Coke can as well that has 3 different lip glosses in it, and that goes the same for the cherry flavor as well. So again, you have the eyeshadow palette, and then you have the lip glosses, and then you also have a highlighter. There's only one highlighter in this collection, and that is this one right here, and I cannot wait for y'all to see the packaging on this one. It is so incredibly cute. Actually, let's go ahead and start with the highlighter. I was gonna start with the glosses, but since I have this in my hand, we're gonna start here. Now, this is incredibly cute. Let me see if I can get the packaging open. So it does come in the little classic red Coca-Cola box, and when you pull it out, it looks like a bottle cap. How cute is that? I love the attention to detail, and even on the back it has the description of it. It has the Coca-Cola logo. It has your little barcode down here. This is adorable. Now, this is a 10-gram highlighter, or 0.35 ounces of product. It does have an 18-month shelf life, and this is what the highlighter itself looks like. So you can see it is like an iridescent shifty multi-chrome with like that red flip to it. Absolutely beautiful, very on theme. It does have a mirror in here as well that says Glamlite on the top of it, but let's go ahead and do a swatch on my hand, and then we will try it on the face. Now, this feels very smooth, very silky. It doesn't feel chunky or anything like that. I'm hoping y'all can see all the shifts. You will once I get it on my hand, but I'm gonna go ahead and swatch this right here first, and then we'll put it on the cheek so you can see that red shift that it has to it. Absolutely beautiful. This is nice and smooth. Like I said, it doesn't feel chunky. It doesn't look glittery either. It just looks nice and sparkly, so you're not gonna have like those glitter particles all over your cheek. All right, so I went ahead and zoomed y'all in just a little bit, and we're gonna try this on the cheek. So I just have an unearthly highlighter brush. I'm gonna dip into here, and we are going to start applying this on the cheek. Now, I will say, as I'm applying this, while it's going on very smooth, I can see sort of like the glitter particles flipping around in front of me. It doesn't feel chunky or anything like that. I don't see where it's like super harsh on the skin, but if you don't like a super sparkly, like shifty highlighter, this is not going to be for you. But I do really love the color of this. I don't go for a lot of multi-chrome or shifty highlighters, but this one is beautiful. I really love the shift that it has to it. All right, so up next we have the lip glosses. We do have 2 separate sets. You have the original taste and you have the cherry. Each of these has 3 lip glosses inside of it, but let's go ahead and start with the original taste, and then we'll do the cherry. But before we open this up, I just want to show you the details on this. This looks exactly like a Coca-Cola can. It has the fluid ounces on the bottom. It even has the little top right here where you can open it up. Obviously, this doesn't lift, but the attention to detail on this is impeccable. I love the packaging. Glamlite always nails it when it comes to the packaging with their collabs, but you just twist off the little top, and then inside you have your 3 glosses. So let's check out the ones that we have. Up first, if I can get this out of here, we have this one. There's not any names or anything like that on them, but this is what it looks like. It's a really pretty red with like some gold sparkle in it. Let's do a swatch on the back of the hand. So I'm gonna go ahead and swatch all of these, and then I'll pick one to put on my lips. I desperately need something on here, but that is the first one right there. And then next we have another one that has some sparkle to it. This one is a little bit more of a deeper true red. Again, it still has that gold sparkle to it. So let's open this up and see what this one looks like on my skin tone. Ooh, that one is really pretty. That's more like a brown red. Very, very pretty. I like how sheer these are. These do feel very hydrating, very thin. They don't feel super thick or anything like that. Obviously, we won't know the true formula until I put them on my lips because you can never tell by a swatch. But the last one that we have is going to be more of a matte gloss. It's got no sparkle or anything like that in it. That's what I mean by matte gloss. It's a really pretty like nudie pink shade. So let's go ahead and put this one right here. That one's really pretty too. I like the shades that they chose. I think this one in the middle is my favorite just because I like that little bit of extra color that it has to it. It does have the sparkle, but it's not over the top, and I just think it's really pretty. But let's go ahead and move on to the cherry flavored ones that we have. So I'm just going to put these back in the can really quick so I don't get them mixed up. All right, so this is what our cherry cola can looks like. Same attention to detail, except this one has more of that cherry Coke color to it. Same lid. We're gonna open this up and pull out our 3 lip glosses. So these are the same packaging, except they have the same lid color that matches the whole theme of the cherry collection. So let's swatch these out. Now these are very pretty. The first one that we have is this pink sort of sparkly gloss right here. Let's swatch her out on my hand. We're gonna go over here with this collection. Very pretty, very sheer. It has just like a hint of a pink to it, but it does have that sparkle in it. The next one that we have is going to be like a true cherry red shade. Again, a little bit of sparkle in this one. Let's go ahead and swatch her right here next to that pink one. Ooh, I like that one as well. I love that sort of cherry popsicle shade that it has to it. That one's gonna be really pretty during the summer. And then last in our cherry collection, we have this one right here. This one doesn't have any sparkles in it. And this one is like a really pretty, like almost mauvey, dusty pink shade. I don't know how to really describe it. It's not a pink, but it's not a red. It has a little bit of warmth to it, but it is really pretty. So I think this one is my favorite from this collection. So it's between this one and this one as to which one I want to try on. But I think I'm gonna go ahead and start with the deeper one, and I'll wear that one while we create our eye look with the original flavor collection, and then I'll switch over to another one, or at least I'm going to try to remember to switch over. But let me go ahead and put these away, pull out the gloss that I want to try on, and then we can move on. All right, so let's go ahead and try on this deeper one with the sparkles in it. I don't have anything on my lips. I'm not going to use a lip liner or anything like that because I want to see what the true color is going to look like. So I'm just going to start applying this all over. This does feel nice and thin. It doesn't feel thick. It doesn't feel gloopy. It feels very hydrating, very smooth. I can't feel like any glitter particles in here, so it's not gritty or chunky or anything like that. And it does have a really good color payoff to it. I do feel a little something on my lips. I don't think these are supposed to be plumping or anything like that. I will put any details that I can up on the screen, but it almost has like a fizzy sensation to it. Not painful or anything, just kind of like a really cool, fun sensation. I don't know if that's just me or it's actually supposed to do that, but I do really like the shade. I think it is very pretty, and that feels very comfortable on the lips. And last but not least in this collection, we have the 2 8-pan eyeshadow palettes. We do have the original taste, and then we have the cherry as well. So I'm going to go ahead and show you close-ups, swatches, give you all the details, and then we will create a look with each of the palettes. But let's go ahead and start with the original taste. Now again, packaging 10 out of 10. I love the attention to detail. I love how this is encased in like a classic vending machine, and then when you open it up, you have your can of Coke in here, which is your eyeshadow palette. So let's go ahead and pull this out, and then we can open it up together. This is our first one right here. Again, it looks like a Coke can. I apologize if the ring light is blinding you. This is very reflective packaging, but let's open her up and see what our color story looks like. Okay, so we have a little plastic overlay that is numbered, and this is our color story right here. It looks like it's actually supposed to go this way, but this is the original taste color story. I do think this is very pretty. I love how we have these neutral browns with these pops of reds over here. We have our silver shimmer. Very pretty. There's 4 mattes, 4 shimmers in here. Again, I love the color combination, and I am excited about this one because we have some lighter shades in here, and you don't see that a lot from Glamlite. Now, there are no shade names in here. You do have this little plastic overlay that is numbered, and that correlates to the shades on the back of here. But again, it doesn't give you shade names. It just kind of tells you the ingredients in each of the shades, which ones are intended for eye use and all of that, just for their own safety. That way, if anything happens, the company is not held liable. But I do like this color story. I think it is beautiful. I am excited to create a look with this one. I am not a big fan of silvers, but I really like the silver in here with the reds because it's 100% on point and on theme with this collection. And then finally, we have the Cherry Coca-Cola palette. I already took it out of the big packaging because it's the same, and you know, we don't need to go through that again, but this is what the palette looks like. So it's the same as the Coca-Cola palette. It just has that different color and it says cherry on the top. But let's open this up and check out our color story. So once again, you have the same little numbered overlay that corresponds to the shades on the back of the big packaging, so you can look at ingredients and all of that. But this is our color story. I love this one. This one is my favorite of the two, and if you've been here, you already know why. I absolutely love purple eyeshadow, and this is a purple monochromatic palette done right. I love how we have these lighter shades over here. It goes to deep, this really pretty cherry red. I love that we have a lighter shimmer as well for my inner corner. Glamlite, like I said, doesn't do a lot of lighter shades, so I am really excited about this. Again, this is an 8-pan palette. You have 4 mattes, 4 shimmers, and I love the attention to detail in both of these with the bubbles and the fact that these shades do say Coca-Cola in them. I think it's absolutely beautiful. But let's go ahead and start creating our look. So I'm going to go ahead and prime my eyes, zoom y'all in, and we're going to start with the Classic Taste palette. All right, let's go ahead and start creating our look with the original Taste palette. I have already gone ahead and primed both my eyes with my MAC Paint Pot in the shade Painterly. It will be down below in the description box. It's my Holy Grail primer. It works for everything across the board. I have very oily eyelids, and I have yet to find one that works better for my lids. But for this look, I think we can get to just about every single shade in here. I don't know about all the shimmers, but we can definitely get to all of the mattes. So I want to go ahead and start with this one right here, the sort of mid-tone brown shade. I am going to go ahead and pick that up with, let's go in with this one. This is a BK Beauty 202 brush, and I'm going to start by fluffing this into my crease, building up a little bit of depth and definition. I'm just going to kind of bring it up into my brow bone, swirling it, buffing it, back and forth motions, just kind of blending it out. Now, so far, this is going on really, really nicely. The pigmentation is there. I'm not getting any patching or skipping with this shade, and it is blending up really nicely. Now, from my experience, Glamlite does not have the same formula in every single palette across the board. Sometimes their formulas are better than others. There are spectacular formulas, and then there's okay formulas. Now, this is actually the first Glamlite collection I have tried since the Kiss collection. I have been a little bit salty about that one because it was such an iconic collection, super hyped, and the quality in there was just not very good. So I have really, really high hopes for this one. All right, so next we're gonna go into this bright, vibrant red shade over here. So I'm gonna go ahead and pick that up with a Singe Beauty EO3 brush, and I am going to start to put this in my outer corner, but I think I'm gonna bring it over about halfway just because I really wanna get to all these mattes. I wanna have a lot of depth with this one. So I'm just kind of packing it on my lid and then blending it up into the crease, buffing it out in my outer corner, just kind of creating the shape that I want. Yes, that is beautiful. It is a nice pigmented red. It does have a little bit of like a pinkiness to it, but it is very close to like the Coca-Cola red that we all know, and it's going on really nicely. I'm not getting any patching, skipping, or fallout, and this is not giving me any fuss. I'm going to bring that shade down onto my lower lash line as well. And I think I'm just going to kind of bring it all the way over. Normally I kind of line everything up with what's going on my lid, but I am going to bring this all the way over to the inner corner. So I'm just kind of buffing it out, making sure that it's not harsh, it's nice and blended, and it kind of meets up over here in my outer corner. Moving on, we're going to go into this deeper warm brown shade right here. I'm going to go ahead and pick this one up with a Game Beauty EO1 brush, and I'm going to deepen up this outer corner a little bit. So I'm going to start by packing this on right over here, and I'm going to bring it pretty far over as well. Not all the way, I still want to have a little bit of that red peeking through. I just want to use this to deepen up that red shade a little bit. So it's definitely doing that. It's giving me a little bit of depth out here. I'm also going to bring this down onto the outer portion of my lower lash line as well. All right, lastly, we're going to deepen up this outer corner just a little bit, and I'm going to go into this black shade over here. I did say that there were 4 mattes in this palette, but this is actually a matte sequin shade, so it does have a little bit of that red sparkle in there. If you pack it on, you're usually going to get a little bit of that sparkle, but if you start to fluff it out and use it in like a very small space, usually it fluffs away and performs as a matte shade. So we're going to use that in our outer corner. So I'm going to go ahead and pick that up with a Game Beauty EO7 brush, and I am very lightly going to pack this right here on my outer corner, just building up that extra little depth that I want. I'm loving the gradient that I'm getting on my lid with these shades. They are all performing beautifully. I have not had any patching, skipping, or fallout with any of these shades. Even with this black one, I'm not getting any fallout, but I am going in very lightly handed, and I am pressing it into my outer corner. So I'm not doing any blending or anything like that, but absolutely beautiful. All right, let's go ahead and put some of these shimmers on the lid. So I think what I'm gonna do is a combination of these 3 right here. I'm gonna leave this one out of this look. I just don't really have any room for it. And honestly, I'm not a huge fan of really dark shimmers like that anyway. I will continue to play with this, create more looks, and at some point I will get use out of that shade. But for this look, I'm gonna just focus on these 3 over here. So I'm gonna go ahead and start with this really pretty red shimmer right here. I have already gone ahead and primed my lid with my NYX glitter primer. So I'm just going to pick this one up on my finger. Now this one does feel a little bit on the drier side when I dip my finger into it. It does have a really pretty metallic shimmer to it, but it doesn't look like it has that beautiful shift and wet smooth feeling that I know and love from Glamlite. So not bad, but not really starting off on the great note that I was hoping for, but I am going to go ahead and press this all over my lid. I'm going to bring it over to about right there, and I'm going to bump it up right to that matte shade over here in my outer corner as well. That is a very pretty red. It is more like I said, a metallic red. It doesn't have that super punch or reflection to it, but it is very pretty on the lid. It's going on nicely. It's not emphasizing texture. It doesn't feel heavy or anything like that. All right, so next I'm going to go into this warm brown shimmer right here. And again, I'm going to pick this one up with my finger. Now this one feels smoother. It feels a little bit softer. It doesn't feel wet or anything like that, but it doesn't feel as dry as that red one. And it does have a little bit more reflection to it. So still not quite as punchy as what I know from Glamlite, but it's a little step up from that red one. But I'm going to go ahead and put this right here where that matte and that shimmer meet. And then once I have it pressed on the lid, I'm going to go back with a clean finger and just kind of blend everything together so we have a nice gradient from the outer corner all the way across. And last, for the inner corner, we're going to go into this really pretty silver shade right here. I do want to kind of put my finger in here, see what it feels like, and then I'm going to pick it up with a brush and apply it. Now this feels very creamy feeling. It is nice and smooth. It is definitely punchier than the other shades in here. Still nothing flippy or anything like that, but it is a lot smoother than the other shades. But I'm going to go ahead, like I said, pick that up with a brush. So for that, I'm going to use my Singe Beauty EO1. I am going to spray this with a little bit of MAC Fix Plus, and we're going to pop this in to my inner corner. So I have it on my brush. Let's go ahead and spray you. And we're going to pop that right in here, and I'm going to kind of blend it up onto my lid as well, right over into that red shade and down onto my lower lash line just a little bit as well. Alright y'all, so this is the completed look with the original Taste palette, and I do think that this came out really pretty. I like the combination of the mattes in here. I got some good depth. I didn't have any issues performance wise, and I think the shimmers are pretty in this palette. They're not my favorite that Glamlite has ever done, but they're not horrible either. But let me show you what I used to finish off this look so we can move on to our look with the Cherry palette. So in my lower waterline, I went in with an Urban Decay 24/7 Glide On Liner. This is in the shade 0. I lined my lid with my Glamlite Calligrapher liner, and this is on its last leg. I'm gonna have to order a new one next time I place another order on Glamlite. And then I finished everything off with my Charmacy Volumizing Mascara. But let's go ahead and move on to our Cherry eyeshadow palette. This is my favorite of the two based off the color story, and I am excited to create our look with this one. So starting us off, I think once again I can get to pretty much every color in here. I don't know about all the shimmers. I'm gonna try my hardest, but I'm gonna go ahead and start with this lighter purple shade over here, and I'm gonna do something very similar to what I did on this eye. So I'm gonna go ahead and start out by picking that shade up with a Morphe M504 brush, and I am going to start to fluff this into my crease, building up my depth, my definition, kind of seeing how this performs. Am I gonna get patching, skipping? Is it gonna blend out nicely, or is it just gonna kind of fluff away? And that is beautiful. I love that sort of grape purple shade. I'm going to bring that shade down onto my lower lash line as well, just kind of wrapping everything around and kind of blending it into the outer corner over here where they meet up. So next I want to go into this mid-tone berry purple shade right here. I'm going to pick this one up with a Singe Beauty EO6 brush, and I am going to press this in to my outer corner. Again, building up that little bit of depth and definition out here, building up the shape that I want. I am pressing the shade on first, and then once I have it where I want it, I can go back with like the side of the brush and start to blend everything out. But that is a very pretty shade. I like the color combination. These are blending very well. Again, I'm not having any issues with the performances of the mattes in these palettes. Next, I want to go into this true purple over here. So I'm going to go ahead and pick that one up with a Singe Beauty EO4 brush, and I'm actually going to put this on the outer portion of my lower lash line. So I'm not going to put this one up on my lid. I want to kind of keep that more of like the warm purple side, and I want to make this one a little bit more of that cool tone purples down here on the lower lash line. So I'm just kind of going back and forth, smudging everything along, making sure that it's nice and blended, and bringing it over to that outer corner. All right, now we're gonna go into this cherry red shade right here, and that's what I'm gonna use to deepen up my outer corner. I will go in with that purple shade that I just used if I need to, but I think I'm gonna get the depth that I want from this one. So I'm gonna pick that up with a Singe Beauty EO5 brush, and I'm gonna start to press this right here on my outer corner. Yeah, that is giving me just enough depth. Now you can absolutely combine these two palettes together. Maybe I'll make a short doing that, kind of mixing and matching these palettes, because I would love to dig into that black shade in the other palette and really smoke out this outer corner. But we're gonna work with what we got for these two looks, because I don't like to bring in other things when I'm doing a first impression of these palettes. I like to show you what you can do with the palette itself. All right, let's go ahead and put some shimmers on the lid. So for this one, I'm kind of thinking maybe I can get to all four. We'll see how it works as I go through here, but I am gonna go ahead and start with this one right here, this one that's right above that cherry red shade. So I'm gonna go ahead and pick this one up with my finger. Now this one does feel very creamy and very smooth as well, and this one has much more reflection to it than the ones that I saw in the first palette that I used. But I'm gonna go ahead and press this in like the center portion of my lid. So I'm not gonna bring it all the way over. I'm literally just going right in the middle of my lid. Like I said, I think I can get to every single shimmer with this one, but that is really pretty. It doesn't have a flip or anything like that to it, but it does, like I said, have a nice reflection to it. Next, I'm going to go into this deeper purple shimmer over here, and I'm going to put this one on my outer corner where that matte and that shimmer meet. So again, I'm going to pick this one up with my finger. This one feels nice and smooth. Once again, it does have a really good reflection to it. This one has like more of a black base to it, so it doesn't have a flip, but it kind of looks like it because it's that black with that purple in it. But I'm going to press this right here where that matte and that shimmer meet, kind of blending everything together. And just like the other eye, once I had that shade down, I'm going to go in with a clean finger and kind of blend everything out. All right, so we're down to our last two shimmers, and I want to put this one on that inner portion of my lid, and then I'm going to put this one on the actual inner corner of my lid. So we're getting all these shimmers on the lid. It is a lot for that tiny amount of space, but I really wanted to play with as many of the shades as I can. So I'm going to go ahead and start with this one right here, and I'm actually going to pick that one up with a brush since I have nails and I can't get in there. So I'm going to pick that up with my BK Beauty 206 brush. I am going to spray that with some MAC Fix Plus just so I don't get any fallout from the brush, and I'm going to, like I said, put this on that inner portion. I am going to pick this up with my finger really quick because I want to see what it feels like, if it's going to be nice and smooth or a little bit gritty or anything like that. This one is beautiful. Look at the reflection on that shimmer. If my camera will focus, I don't know if it will, there we go. That is probably the most reflective and beautiful shimmer in these two palettes so far. That is why I wanted to swatch it. But let's go ahead and put this one on the inner portion right here on my lid, and then we'll go back and do the inner corner. And lastly, for the inner corner, we're going to go into this shade right here. So I'm going to go ahead and pick this one up on my finger, see what it feels like, what the reflection is like. This one feels nice and smooth as well. And this one, oh yeah, this one definitely has a lot of reflection to it. It almost looks like it has a little bit of a duochrome shift to it. I don't think it does, but it kind of looks like it based off of the reflection. I will say, just based off of this first impression, the shimmers in the cherry palette are much prettier than the ones in the original Taste palette. But let's go ahead and put this one on the inner corner. So again, I'm going to pick that up with my Singe Beauty EO1 brush. I am going to spray it with my MAC Fix Plus per usual, and I'm going to pop this one into my inner corner, kind of blend it down onto my lower lash line and up onto my lid as well. Oh yeah, that is beautiful. All right, y'all, so this is the completed look with the cherry palette, and I think this one turned out beautiful. I am a lover of purple eyeshadow, so I'm a little bit biased when it comes to which look is my favorite, but I didn't have any issues with the performance of the mattes in this palette either. And again, I think the shimmers in this one are just a little prettier. They're more reflective, more smooth than the ones that I saw in the original Taste palette. But let me show you what I used to finish up this look so we can turn down the light, show you the shimmer and the sparkle, and then close out this video with my first initial impression thoughts. Now, I did go ahead and switch out my gloss. So I took off the other one and I'm wearing this one right here. This is the one from the cherry collection that doesn't have the sparkle in it, and I think it's absolutely beautiful. It just gives that really pretty like cherry popsicle lip look to the lips, and I love it. It has a little bit more red to it than what I was expecting, but very pretty, very comfortable, nice and hydrating. It doesn't feel thick or sticky or anything like that. But in my lower waterline for this eye look, I went in with a satin Kajal liner from Victoria Beckham in the shade Fig. I don't know why I said that all weird, but I did. It is what it is. And then of course I finished off this look with my Glamlite Calligrapher liner and my Charmacy Volume Mascara. All right, y'all, so there you have it, the Coca-Cola Glamlite collection in its entirety, and I think this is so much fun. I had a really good time diving into these products, swatching them, trying them on, and creating these two looks for y'all. I think Glamlite nailed it when it comes to this collection. Not only is the theming and the packaging 100% on point, but the formulas are really good in these products as well. But let's go ahead and run through each one of these individually really quick so I can give you my first initial impression thoughts, and then we will close out this video. So kicking things off, we have the highlighter. I love the packaging on here. 10 out of 10. It is that classic Coca-Cola red. It looks like a bottle top, and I think it is so cute. Now this is sturdy plastic packaging. It doesn't feel cheap or anything like that. I always like to point that out for y'all, but the highlighter in here is very pretty. It is very sparkly, so if you are somebody who doesn't like a super sparkly highlighter, this is probably not going to be for you. I generally prefer something very smooth. I do like it to be blinding and very reflective, but I like it to be, like I said, a little bit more on the smooth side. But this is very pretty on the cheek, and even though I got a lot of like kick up and fly away when I applied it to my cheek with a brush, I don't have glitter everywhere, and I really appreciate that. I also love that red flip that it has to it. I think it is very on point and goes with the collection beautifully. Up next, we had the lip gloss sets, and I think the packaging on these are by far my absolute favorite of the entire collection. They nailed it. I love the Coca-Cola cans. I love the attention to detail on these with the tops up here where you drink out of. These are so cute, and I think the colors in each one of these are very on theme as well. I love that you got 2 sparkly ones and one that didn't have any sparkle in each of the cans. The colors are beautiful and the formula is fantastic. The 2 that I tried on are very comfortable on the lips. The one that has a sparkle in it didn't feel gritty or anything like that. They both felt very hydrating, very moisturizing, very comfortable. I didn't get the stringy thing. They're not very heavy or thick or anything like that. They are just very comfortable, and they do have a little bit more opacity than what I was expecting based off of these swatches on the back of my hand. So these I absolutely love. And then of course we have the 2 eyeshadow palettes. Again, packaging 10 out of 10. I love that they come in this cute little classic icebox vending machine. I will probably keep this packaging. I don't normally keep big bulky stuff like this, but these are too cute to get rid of. So I'm thinking my palettes will actually live in these little boxes. But let's get down to these 2 palettes right here. So we have the original taste and we have the cherry. Obviously the cherry is going to be my favorite, so let's go ahead and start with this one. I love the color story in here. I love the purples in here. I really appreciate that we got some lighter shades and some darker shades. We got some lighter shimmers in here. There is a lot of variation in this palette, even though it is a monochromatic purple palette. It is a very well curated monochromatic purple palette, and I do really like that. I will say the shimmers in here are nice and reflective. You don't have flips or anything like that. We don't always need those, but they did swatch out very creamy. They felt very nice when I picked them up on my finger, and these 2 right here had a beautiful reflection to them. These 2 are really nice as well, but they weren't as punchy as what we have seen in other Glamlite palettes, but compared to what we see in this one, which we will get to in just a minute, they are more reflective. The mattes in here are beautiful as well. This is the good matte formula from Glamlite that I know and love. I didn't have any performance issues at all. They were all nice and pigmented. They blended out really pretty, very easy to work with, no patching, skipping, or fallout, and I had very little kick up in the pans with these. So this is my favorite as far as color story goes, but the formulation in both of these is incredible. But I do want to touch on this one just really quick. So I do think the color story in this one is very pretty as well. I think it is very on theme. It goes perfect with the classic original taste of Coke. I love that you have these 2 warm tone neutrals. You have this really pretty a sequin black over here that can be used as like a full-on matte, or you can really pack it on and get a little bit of that shimmer to it. This red over here is really pretty as well. If you blend it out, it does kind of sheer and have a little bit of a pinkiness to it, but if you really pack it on, you can go for the full opacity and get a really pretty red. Now the shimmers in here are okay, especially compared to the ones in this palette. None of these are flippy or anything like that. This red over here kind of teeters on a combination of a satin and a metallic. It's not quite as reflective as what I would have wanted. I wanted something that was more like the packaging, where it just had that really pretty reflection to it. I don't always need multi-chromes or duochromes, but I do want something that just gives a little bit more. I found the shimmers in here to be just a little bit underwhelming. They are still very pretty. They went on the lid really nicely. They blended out really nicely. I didn't have any issues as far as fallout, accentuating texture, or anything like that. Time will tell as far as creasing goes. I do really like both of these palettes, but the cherry is absolutely going to be my favorite. Alright y'all, so that is going to complete this video. I hope y'all enjoyed it. Let me know all of your thoughts down below. Did you pick up this collection? If you didn't, are you planning to do so? Are you a Coke person? If you are, do you prefer original or cherry? Which look was your favorite? I want to know it all. Let's have that conversation. Light up that comment section, and as usual, I want to thank you all so much for watching my video and spending your time with me. It truly does mean so much to me. And if you like this video, make sure you give it a big thumbs up before you leave. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and click on that notification bell so that you can be notified of all my future posts here on my channel. I do post quite a few videos every single week, and I wouldn't want you to miss one. But until my next video, have a good one. Bye.